Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing some science and we're going to be looking at the solar system. Okay everyone, so before we start, as you can see, I'm in the kitchen and I've got a bunch of fruit and things with me that are going to help me in my video. Okay, and they're going to help with the experiment as well. So when you do this at home, you need to think of the size of the planets, the colour of the planets maybe, and what you want to use to represent each one. So I've got a few to choose from, and what I'm going to do is basically choose a planet and then see which fruit or whatever else you want to use is best to use for that planet. So the biggest thing in our solar system is the sun. That's why I've chosen a balloon, a yellow one, to represent my sun, because it's bigger than everything else I have here. Now, it's not really to scale, which means that the sun isn't only this much bigger than one of the planets, but it's still the biggest thing in the solar system, so that's why I'm using this. So when you're choosing things, make sure you get the right sizes. So you don't want your planets to be bigger than your sun. Your sun is the biggest thing. Okay everyone, so I'm going to list the planets in size order now. And that means the first one I'm going to start with is Jupiter. So Jupiter is my biggest planet, which is why I'm going to use a big watermelon to show Jupiter. And some people don't know, but there's actually a ring around Jupiter as well. So if you want, you can use something like bananas to show the ring. You can just put it around it like this. You can do whatever you want. You can just use whatever you want in your house as a ring. The second biggest planet in the solar system is Saturn, and it has a ring around it. So for Saturn, I'm going to use another big fruit. I'm going to use a melon, and I'm going to put around it some bananas to be my ring. Okay, the next biggest planet, so it's Jupiter, Saturn, and then you've got Uranus. So for that, I've got another melon, different type of melon, and that also has a ring, but I'm out of bananas, so I'm going to use some straws. I've just put them all together, and I'm just going to put that around it, so that can be my ring for Uranus. And also, after Uranus is Neptune, and I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to use some straws to make a ring for that one as well, because all four of those big planets have all got rings around them. Okay everyone, so I've gone through the biggest ones, which are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, which all have rings. And now the next biggest planet without a ring is the Earth that we live on. And I'm going to use a coconut for that. And as you can see, it's not as big as the others because the Earth is quite a bit smaller than them. Okay, and the Earth also has a moon. Now the other planets also have moons, so if you want as a challenge, you can include their moons as well, but I'm just going to include the Earth's moon. Okay, so I've got the Earth and the moon. Okay, so we've done Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune and the Earth. Now after the Earth, the next biggest planet is Venus. So Venus is quite similar in size to the Earth. Okay, a lot of people think that Mars is closer in size because it's closer to the Earth, but Venus is next and I'm using a pomegranate for that. And then we've got Mars, which is about almost half of the size of the Earth. And I'm going to use a little nectarine for that. And then finally, the last planet we haven't done is Mercury, which is the closest to the sun, which is why I'm using a kiwi, because it looks like it's a little bit ashy and burnt, which I feel like is what it might be like on Mercury. Okay, the last thing I'm going to show you is another planet that you might know. So there's actually a dwarf planet that you probably know called Pluto, and the reason that they don't include it with the rest is because it's so small. So I'm going to use a little cherry to show Pluto. Obviously it doesn't have this sticking out of it, so this is what I'm going to use as Pluto, and now I'm going to show you what my planet's like all together in the solar system. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what all of my planets look like in the solar system. So I've got the Sun, which is the biggest star in our solar system, which I've used as a balloon. And then the closest planet to the Sun is Mercury. After that, we've got Venus, the Earth, and I've got our moon as well. And then we've got Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and then far, far away is Pluto. Now, all of these planets, because Mercury is closest to the Sun, and that means that it's the hottest planet there is, okay? Which means that if we go all the way to the end, Pluto is the coldest planet, okay? Now, we live on Earth, of course, which means that it's just the right temperature for us humans to live on. And if you've heard recently, there's been a few astronauts going to Mars, or well, thinking about going to Mars and doing some exploring, because they think that it might be good enough for us to live on. Maybe somewhere really far in the future they might be able to do that. Okay, but at the moment, we are here. Okay, so your challenge at home is to come up with your own solar system like this. You don't have to use fruit, you can use whatever you want, but think about how close they are to the sun, how big they are compared to each other, and if you want, you can even be more specific than I was, and you can choose the right colours, and you can do some research and find out if any of these planets have moons as well that you can use for your model. Okay everyone, that's the end of the video. I hope you learned something and I hope you enjoy doing this at home. Remember, you can always watch the video again or any of the other videos, and I hope you watch the next one.